unplug it real quick if you don't mind starting off these intros.
Okie dokie. In the bottom right, as the Red Terran, it's Millennium's MarineLord.
And I can't pan like this. Hang on, guys. It's like stuck. One sec. Is that working? Hey, there we go. Fixed it. All right. In the top left, it's going to be from, well, sponsored by the Meltdown Bar, the pink Zerg player Stephano, currently trailing the series. Now, I'm wondering, by the way, didn't they announce they're going to open like a Meltdown Bar somewhere in North America? Because I'm wondering, is that... I swear I remember them bringing something up about it, because I was wondering if that's going to be Toronto, and if it would be in time for the WCS qualifier, or finals. I'm just saying that'd be really cool.
Meltdown America is something completely different, GK.
Oh, okay then. Maybe I misread the Reddit thread from forever ago. I can't recall. But, we got some good matches still ahead of us. Like I said, guys, we're going to try and cast as many of the actual qualifying rounds as humanly possible, but this one's got to finish up first.
Oh, I guess anyone can start a franchise for Meltdown. You want to go in on that?
I'm just saying, that could be our house. Take TV styles, live above the bar. Then we get our blackjack in.
I've always wanted to live above a bar. Well, not a bar specifically, but like a restaurant.
I don't know how I'd feel about that, because I feel like the smell would eventually probably bother you the most, right?
I don't know. Depends on what type of restaurant I guess it is.
If it's really clean and fancy, maybe it's not an issue. But if you're like, you know, sort of dive bar, grunge, like gross burger smell all day, like,
well,
no,
that's not what I was imagining, but yeah. Because like Ocean City has the boardwalk, and people live on top of those restaurants, basically the workers. And I've always thought that was really cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, my goal, whenever I do finally, if I can ever afford my own house or my own apartment, I don't have to share it with somebody, my goal would be to not live within a block of cows. I think that'd be cool. It's been my whole life here in the country.
I mean, apartments are built near cows?
I'm just saying, it'd be nice to get away from the country, live in the city or something.
Seems like it's the reason you wouldn't buy an apartment, you know, build an apartment near cows, because not many people would be around cows. Logic there.
Actually, one of the security guard locations I did was next to the left it was like an ice rink, to the right was a cross section, and to the south was a farm. So, yeah, country hype. Anyways, MarineLord is gonna kite around the links just a little bit. Not gonna get too much for you. I mean, the Reapers didn't really accomplish much last game, but if we're gonna be completely honest, it wasn't the Reapers that were the backbone of that game at all. You know, he didn't rely on early aggression or cheesy kills. It was just that straight push, the great split on those Marines, good engagements, and of course the macro. The macro out of MarineLord was the best. Yeah,
it really was. It was beautiful. Yeah, the Hellions, they got caught, they died, so it wasn't really the absolute cleanest game you could ever have, but it's like it didn't even matter, because the minute after that, he was back to just perfect. I don't want to say perfect, right? Because I'm thinking I want to do perfect, but really, really good macro and micro. We might have the same thing going down here, but have a third base come down from MarineLord. He's still only on one gas. You that at a starport for just a Viking. The Viking didn't do much. I mean, they killed a couple of overlords. It's job, basically, but it wasn't MarineLord depending on that to open the way for drops. It was just the front push. Oh, an armory. Oh.
Okay, so Hellbats for this one. I mean, we saw Hellbats last time, but I don't think they really came out so,
well, those are just, you know,
aggressive.
Yeah, those aren't aggressive at all. Those just paired up with the push. It just pairs up nicely. But these ones are going to be basically, like, I think that like, some of the earliest you can get, and also some of the non-lethal, just because there aren't going to be a lot. It's not going to be accompanied by anything. Like, not a lot of Marines, not a medevac, not a Banshee.
Why did he start tearing down the rocks? It's kind of like a free depot.
I don't know.
Now the barracks is floating over too to try and get the Overlord from the high ground? What is going on with MarineLord? I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it is weird and unnatural.
Oh, this is nice. I mean, these Lings were about to have speed. They could have been very helpful defending against the Hellbats. Again, not a big push, but you got a lot of Queens or some Ling fodder to give to it. I think he sees that the push is coming now too. Like Marines come across the map with Hellions. Okay, Hellbats.
Oh, free Overlord in the middle of the map. Really nice catch here, actually. Last thing you want to do is get supply blocked, and he is supply blocked as Hellbats are on his front lines. And while we're kind of hoping for maybe a longer game, it might not be the case. Stephano's going to have about 6 Hellbats, a lot of Marines pushing with this, or I guess 5 Hellbats. A lot of Marines pushing with this, and without the capability of making more links right now, this is possibly game-ending.
Oh, the Queen's at the spread. There you go.
Links trying to go for the Marines, but oh, those helmets at the backside. Oreo in the Marines really nicely. Couple of transfuses, but you're right, pretty much none. The Marines bring a lot of extra DPS to the party that the Hellbats just don't have. Hellbats are slow attacking, big burst damage, but Stephano somehow kites those Queens away. He keeps them alive.
I mean, this attack really is just, like I said, the least lethal one you could have. They had to be playing very, very greedy not to get it. I'm talking like no queens, no additional queens at all.
Yeah, I mean, if that comes with the medevac too, that actually doesn't get cleaned up nearly as easily, but really well played so far out of Stephano on that defense. There's something that, okay, you're right, it's not the most lethal, but it still can be lethal, right?
Well, any Hellbat can be, right?
Yeah.
Oh, a choke. Yeah, okay.
Still, those rocks being a little bit low is a bit odd to see. Do we have a third CC? Oh, we do. He's here, the natural. Okay.
But he's still going to go ahead and go into a Banshee. I do wonder, since he's delaying Stim so much, if we might see mech. Is the tech lab on the barracks right now? Not yet.
I would like to see mech, because it might prompt the possibility of a stranger response out of Stephano. We haven't really seen any mech in any of the qualifiers so far.
We just have another opportunity to cast. I've heard other people complain.
We haven't seen the goodies of the qualifying brackets.
Yeah, not yet.
Hey, big love goes to Peely Peely, by the way. Peely Peely, good player. We're going to hopefully see him qualify for WCS America. Just sub to the channel, so welcome.
A little more cutthroat. America, that is. It's so possible.
I was like, what? Like, the sub is really cutthroat, really?
Like, Peely's just like, I'll wreck you.
No, the American qualifiers are a little bit dangerous right now because Stardust still floating around as a potential qualifier of the brackets. He got knocked out by Taiga last night.
Well, Scarlet really didn't show the best games. I was watching a little bit of the stream on and off, so I don't know about her, but it is going to be mech. 4 factories slapped down at once.
Awesome. All right, so, well, hang on. We'll see what the mech brings. These Hellions are going to get caught. Transforming Hellbats in the corner might be a good move.
Well, I guess just the Hellions are going to be able to deal with the lings.
These little nooks on the map don't get used by many, but yeah, MarineLord trades out pretty well with this. Now, still no workers killed by either player, but resources lost, fairly even. Banshee coming towards the main, though. There is a Spore Crawler, so that has to be somewhat careful. Scan also going down to check the natural to see what's over here. I mean, I guess identifying that it's... He saw the third with that run by, right? Actually, just checking. No, he actually didn't see the third.
Well, you gotta assume by 11 minutes it's down.
Yeah, I mean...
That all-in would have hit a long time ago.
2-base openers are different from 2-base plays, of course.
It's true. Well, I think he was just checking to see if there's a Spire already down. You know, if Stephano had skipped upgrades first, then maybe the mutas would be coming out right now, and that would be kind of scary for a mech player who didn't quite have his production up. But not the case, and in fact, MarineLord is already getting his production up. He did slap down 4 factories at a time, already getting a couple of Thors, some more Banshees to help out in case there's a Roach Warren he missed, Blue Flame, as well as a couple of missile turrets. He's really well defended.
Well, I like mech for a lot of very different reasons. One of them, though, is the fact that it's... If he decides to play turtle style, that's a different can of worms. With the Thors coming out and the Hellbats that were invested in, especially with these Banshees, this doesn't really scream passive mech play to me. This kind of looks like the type of mech push that, you know, 125, 150, you just move out and go for the attack, bring some SCVs, pull some repairs. But... if he does decide to play super turtle style, get a bunch of tanks out, lock in his third, slowly take a fourth, I am really curious how Stephano's going to deal with it. With the Swarm Host changes, Swarm Hosts for the past year have been the auto response to mech. You can't do that anymore, not the same way. But oh my god, he's going to do it. Ah! Woo! Ah! Woo!
Ah, real monsters.
Okay, so, wow, that's a reference and a half right there. That's older than Friends, I think, isn't it? Either way, quick thing to talk about here. The Locust change, we haven't had to bring up because we haven't seen it in any other games. But for those who were not keeping up to date with the stats of the game, one of the biggest changes to the Swarm House was A, it no longer auto-spawns Locusts. They're still free, but no longer auto-spawns them. It has a much longer cooldown per wave of Locusts, but the Locusts last a little bit longer and deal a lot more damage. 0.2 second attack speed increase might not seem like a lot to many, but trust me, it's huge. Now the flying part too as well, just to, again, add this in, they can't attack while in the air. They have to actually land to shoot, and they can only shoot from ground to ground. That being said, they're light units in the air, and if you've got a lot of Thors and a lot of Vikings, as we saw the other day, it can tear through them before they even land. So this Flying Locust upgrade is not necessarily that great of an addition.
Well, we still have melee upgrades here. So I do wonder if he's going to go ahead and into Ultralisk. You know, he made it work against Protoss. Maybe he'll make it work against Mech. So our MarineLord still on Thor production. Not adding in a ton of siege tanks yet. A couple are being lined up in the corners, so they can't be surrounded by, you know, little bits of lings here and there. Stephano, though, already up to 4 bases, a 5th on the way, and it is an Ultralisk cavern. There you go.
I think it's the Lings and the Ultras that are really going to make this work. I mean, I'm really glad he continued to invest in the melee upgrades. You don't need a lot of Swarm Hosts to still be deadly, because the idea is that you fly over top and land them on top of the tanks, and the tanks still do that stupid friendly fire damage, just kind of like Broodlords and Broodlings, like they'll land directly on top of the tanks, on top of the Hellbats, the Thors, whatever. So, again, it's free units. Even unupgraded, this is going to be nice to have. And he set up this weird, like, cross-the-map flank? I don't know how to describe that, but revealing the Locust might bait MarineLord into making more tanks, might bait him into making more Thors, but at the end of the day, I think Vikings are going to be his best friend.
Yeah. Kind of a little situation now where the Thor is going to be good against these flying Locusts, but damn. So much for that Ling attack.
Okay, that looked really cool. That looked like the Thor shot killed all the Locusts, but just he ran out of life. So, well, they're light units, guys. They're not super light units.
Stephano underestimating the length time for those Locusts.
Oh man, these blue flame Hellbats in that mineral line. If we get past the Lings, there's so many drones they want to go eat up, of course. But Queen's here to defend, mass scrambling left and right. Looks like a couple are going to run into the 4th base. Not a lot to kill over here, but still kills nonetheless. MarineLord really keeping his opponent in check.
Even these Lings coming in here, sometimes you're going to get barbecued, so always a little bit risky. I don't think, like, there's a lot of Lings, you know, and maybe that's not what your first guess would be for defending Swarm Host, but I do wonder if MarineLord is considering what could follow Lings that are upgraded, if he's checking the upgrades, too. Like, does he know he's going to have to deal with Ultras soon? He's just going to find, like, a good position, kind of get a good SimCity with tanks? To the main.
Okay. Missile drones can shoot probably 1 or 2 of them down. This 4th base, guaranteed to die. He's going to pull what little drones he can out of this. So many Zerglings, no adrenal glances yet. So many Ultras on the way, still not here. But these Swarm Hosts, while they don't have a lot of life left, they probably could have focused down the command center. Goes for SCV kills instead. I don't know about that. In fact, the Swarm Host might even be best set to come back home. He will need just about everything he can to hold this push. This is a huge push coming out of MarineLord.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Swarm Hosts, they take so long to replenish those Locusts as well, so not so helpful for another couple of seconds. The Ling run by just gets roasted by a couple of Hellbats. Just a couple. Just
a couple of blue flame Hellbats. That's all you need. Adrenal Glance not as good as it is in Legacy of the Void. Hopefully Stephano's not thinking in that mentality, but that Locust cooldown, for context, guys, is like, what, 32 seconds? Sorry, a minute long. Jesus.
It's quite long. Here's where the Thors, the Vikings do come into play. If they land on top of the tanks, they're probably going to kill them, but barely any land.
Thor's a really big deal. It's stopping that from getting too out of hand. Ultralisk being revealed, perhaps going a little bit too early, but a little bit desperately. There's no support for these units, and as good as they are, you can't send Ultralisks in just alone. Stephano gives away every of his big units.
Yeah, it's too bad because a Ling Flood, there aren't any Hellbats on the front line. A Ling Flood, if the Thors were just not tightly packed like they are now, might have been able to help those Ultras, but now they're tightly packed, they're on a choke. He's feeling pretty confident, I would say. There's another force of mech going to the top right base where all the drones are going to.
Oh, the carnage. Now, before everyone jumps on the train, this is like, mech looks really OP right now. How does anyone even deal with this? We've seen a couple of players actually playing to the I guess the tech swap strength of Zerg, you know, baiting too much tanks, so he goes Broodlords, which in turn baits too many Vikings, so you go back to Ultras. There are really old school ways of playing versus mech that still work out really well. The problem is Stephano just kind of went one direction and never had any sort of in between. Like, this was a game that ended here at the end of 20 minutes, and there wasn't a lot leading up to it. Oh man, Thor's when focus fire deals some very serious damage to those Ultras. Looks like he's going to lose a big chunk of the army, but at the end of the day, you don't have any money to work with as Stephano, and MarineLord is happily still sitting on all these extra bases, muling that 4th one as well.
That is it for the run of Stephano in the qualifier number 2. Still have 3 and 4 to maybe look forward to.
I mean, I'd love to see him somehow bring this back. We had that sick comeback game versus Snovsky, of course. Involved a little bit of throwing, involved a little bit of epicness out of Stephano, but yeah, he's just got nothing. His supply is maybe not so far behind that of MarineLord. It's the fact that it will stay that way, though.
Yeah, exactly. MarineLord just has to use his production or get more production. He will skyrocket, or Stephano will just stay pretty low. The Locusts just aren't doing what I think he wanted to, or maybe they would have.
Blue
had he been
flame!
efficient.
Cleanse the infidel! Yeah, I guess that is one of the major changes, though, right? Because they land in melee range. Hellbats, they used to not be so good because the Swarm Host, the Locusts would pick them away from afar. But I guess something a little bit sad. Something about Swarm Hosts are horrible now, is what I imagine. I don't know.
Yeah, something like these units are horrible. Mech's pretty good.
Oh, I know that's a good luck. So Stephano, not too salty about losing. Hopefully we'll see him in another qualifier. But yeah, a good game is called. And MarineLord, ladies and gentlemen, will now move on to his qualifying match.